They moved me up at that point to fourth in line. And he debated the first guy. And then the first guy left. Maybe took like 5 to 10 minutes. And then he debated the second guy. And at this point I was third in line. And so they were debating. You know, he said the stuff, counting or not counting gang violence, and I was watching the whole time. I was watching pretty intently because I wanted to hear what he was trying to say. I wanted to study him so I could debate him next.
You were like fully invested into it.
Yeah, I was invested, and I was watching him. And so he said, counting or not counting gang violence, and then I heard a loud pop, and then he sort of like, what it looks like to me, he like dropped his mic, and then like, I don't know, just like sort of threw his head back as if he was like super upset or exasperated about what the guy was saying. That's what I immediately thought happened, and I thought that they played like a gunshot or something over the speakers.
That's what I thought too, dude.
To like emphasize his point or something. Like I thought it was all planned. And then I sort of saw like a column of blood sort of come out of his neck and like fly out above his head. And then he just sort of slumped over. And I think it took maybe 2 seconds after the gunshot for me to like realize that he was just shot. And once I realized it, I sort of realized all at once, I was like, oh shit, you know, this guy's a controversial guy and he was just shot. And I'm like right next to him. And so I sort of just got down, and that's what everyone else did too. I just hit the deck. And laid down. I didn't know what else to do, but that seemed like nice thing to do, and I think it was because behind me was like the crowd in like the stands, and like I couldn't jump over the fence that way because there was just a crowd there. I'd be stuck, and then I couldn't jump over the fence the other way because if I did, then I'd be in an open area right next to where he was shot. And so I was sort of just stuck where I was, and I kind of just had to sit there for a minute. And so I pulled out my phone and I texted you, and I texted "love you" to my mom and my best friend. And yeah, then I was like trying to text someone else, and then like I was sort of sitting down for too long, and I sort of realized that people around me were like getting up and like jumping over the fence. So I was like, okay, now if he's gonna shoot a guy, he's just likely to shoot these people as he is me, so I'm just gonna jump up and run now. And so I jumped up and I ran right over there.
And right now we were filming this episode.
Yeah.
We're literally right in the courtyard. We're like feet away from where we both were.
Yeah.
He was like in line to talk. I was literally right behind him on the other side of the barricade. That kind of split the people in line asking him a question between the audience. And yeah, we're like right behind the cameras where we ran. So this is where you ran too, over here?
Yeah. So I ran into this building, and then there was a cop there. And he was sort of like directing everyone. That's what I thought he was doing. He's directing everyone to like hide in a corner.
Was it the Chinese cop?
No, it was a black guy. And that's what I thought he was doing. But it turns out, I realized afterward, is that people were trying to get pictures of Kirk as they were carrying him out. And I almost ran into that. So I like ran towards that because that was my way out. And then like I like sort of went where he was like pointing to for a second. I was like, this is kind of dumb. I don't want to wait here. And so then I just ran out and ran away for like a solid 2 minutes. I was just sprinting, which kind of felt dumb because everyone around me wasn't running. They were, I don't know. I think I was a little bit more confused than a lot of other people were. I think they figured out it was just an assassination at that point. But yeah, now I'll let Ben tell his side.
Yeah, so starting out where the pop like happened and stuff. Yeah, at first exactly what he said. Like I thought, oh, this is just like some dumb like audio like, you know, playing in the background. I thought it was just like part of his like show event type thing for the audience. And yeah, like what Damon just said, I thought he was just trying to make a point or whatever. Until I literally look up and just see like this fountain of blood just start like squirting out of his neck. I was like, oh shoot. And then like just a second later, like everyone's like, get down. Everyone around me's like, just getting down and everything. And that's when so we all just dropped to the floor, and this is kind of where I lose Damon and my side of the story. Since Damon's in front of the barricade, I think he goes another way. I'm with my 2 YouTuber friends. One of them's Robert, and then the other guy's named Brandon. Robert goes off like his own way. I think there's like stairs right like on the side of where we're kind of sitting right now. I think he went up this way. Since I was on the other barricade, since I'm kind of smaller, I was able to just kind of sneak right onto the barricade to where my friend Brandon was. Brandon was a few people behind Damon in line as well, so I just kind of hung out with Brandon kind of on the floor. I think that was like one of the scariest moments for me, just because at that time I didn't know if it was like a mass shooting at the moment or if it was just like a assassination. To me, I thought like, oh shoot, this is a school. This might actually be like a school shooting, like a mass shooting. So I think that's what initially scared me first, and I think that's kind of what initially scared you first as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so yeah, obviously that was kind of scary, and I was just like waiting for like people honestly around me to get shot as well, because I was like, no one knew what was happening at first. But then Brandon, my friend, he was like, yo, we just gotta like dip. So we just leave all the stuff. He left his skateboard, I left some of my equipment. We were all filming content. It was more of a content day for me, more than like a actual like political event rally, if that makes sense. I was just there honestly for content, to record some stuff. Anyways, yeah, I go with Brandon. We go where Damon kind of went under this like building walkway thing. Like it's the famous background kind of the whole like thing. We go hide under there. There's like this cop, and the thing I remember about this cop is this Chinese cop. He was so nice. He was like being so. He didn't even look like he could like be mean or like yell at and stuff. He was like one of the only cops I saw at the whole event at first. He just seemed so nice. But when we started running over here, he was like screaming, getting back. Like, dude, it was cool to like see that like just switch reaction, and how like professional he was in that situation. But anyways, yeah, so we kind of hide under here behind like a truck, I think, or something like that. And then we see like it was probably Charlie, but we see all these like security people start like carrying. Yeah, it was Charlie carrying like him down to like his like black SUV. That was just kind of parked under this building or whatever. But yeah, we're hiding under there. Like I start texting like my like mom and dad, I love you. I text like pretty much everyone important, I love you. Like there's a shooting and stuff. And yeah, so that happened. And then me and Brandon were like, yo, we just gotta like dip. We can't stay here, like we're just waiting for something either bad to happen or like obviously we don't know what's gonna happen. So we end up coming out kind of towards the courtyard. We run up the stairway. I think we just kind of run up that way, towards that direction. And that way literally leads right out like to, I guess, the front of UVU. And that's when we kind of felt safe, I guess. So we get out there, and then I'll let you kind of continue now on where you kind of landed after that.
So I ran for like 2 minutes. Eventually I like stopped running. I just hung around, and like as I was walking by, I like basically was in the nearest parking lot, and like a bunch of cop cars just started coming in. So it probably took them 3 minutes from when the shot rang to them all coming. And they all like got out, and like a few of them asked me where the courtyard was, and like pointed, and they all started running that way. And they were all like carrying AK-47s with like these huge automatic guns. And so that was scary, but I just kept walking, just trying to get away. And then after another couple of minutes, I was like, okay, I've only heard one shot. So I texted everyone who I texted that I love you. I texted like, it was a shooting, but I'm okay now. And then I texted Ben. I was like, okay, I only heard one shot. I think we're okay. Let's try and meet back up at the car. And he texted me something like that he was like on some random part of campus, and that he was heading back towards the car too. But I was in a completely random spot, so I had to like just walk through a bunch of stuff. I kept going into buildings, and teachers were like, no, you guys need to evacuate, you guys need to get out. And like, I'm trying to get to the parking garage, I'm trying to get to the car. And so eventually it maybe took me 5 to 10 minutes to find the parking garage and walk up all the things and get into the and find the car and wait for Ben. And I guess that's when I really started to think about things started to sink in. I made a Reddit post on like r/Salt Lake City.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I did.
You didn't tell me about this. This is interesting.
I didn't tell you that. And that he was shot and he was dead. And then it got removed for being an unsubstantiated rumor, like immediately. So,
That's crazy.
Yeah, I also like posted on Instagram or something that it was just shot and I was there. And people sort of started texting me. I had a few friends text me, and they were like sort of telling me the gravity of this situation. And I was like, this is going to be huge. This is the first influencer to die. This is like, such a relevant assassination. Holy shit. And so I was sort of realizing, like, holy shit, this guy is big. This guy's one of the biggest conservative influencers out there. And he's just been shot. And this is like, a catalyst for a lot of dangerous rhetoric that could happen in Utah right now. And I was like, wow. And also, I just witnessed someone die, I just witnessed an assassination. It was crazy this happened. So I was thinking about all that. And yeah, all those thoughts are kind of coming in, and it was a little intense. And I think my mom called me at some point to ask me if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I mean, it didn't sound like I was okay because I told her that I saw the guy get shot, and it was like kind of graphic, but I don't know. I was feeling shaken up, but I wasn't feeling traumatized. I think, yeah.
Yeah, another thing I just remembered, when me and Brandon were running like up there to get out, we just saw like looters, if you could call them. We just saw people like literally go up to like his little tent and start stealing all the hats and stuff. And unfortunately, I ended up finding out who one of them was, but I actually know one of them personally. He's like this Utah influencer. I won't mention his name, but just this Utah influencer that has a pretty notable big following. He's in the 100,000 follower like amount. And yeah, so that he got a lot of backlash after that whole thing. But yeah, I just, dude, it's stupid. Just people like stealing just the most random things. But anyways, yeah, after me and Brandon ran out, we kind of circled around UVU, trying to get back. We kind of parked at the seminary like parking garage area that's on campus. And I remember walking out, we passed these two girls, and they're like, yo, the shooter hasn't been caught yet. And we're like, what? And we're like, and they're like, no, they just announced like the cheetah hasn't been caught yet. Because initially, remember, they thought that old guy was the one who.
Yeah.
And one of our friends, Aaron, which was with us right now, but he has a picture of I might put it on the screen, but he has a picture of like this old guy getting literally like put in cuffs and stuff. And did you hear like a couple months after it happened, he actually got put back in jail because he got found for like child bad images online of children, and he's now like in prison for like I think it's like 10 years he got sentenced for now.
That's crazy.
So it was even relating to that Charlie Kirk. It was relating to something else. Like a few months later, they got found out.
I saw him all over the internet in like the first couple hours, but I knew that it wasn't him because he was arrested right here, and like I knew that from how loud the gunshot was, which was loud but not very loud, that the shooter had to be very far away. And also I was looking at the area, I would notice if someone shot right there. So I like knew that wasn't the guy.
Yeah.
That the guy couldn't have also been here. So I don't know why he was arrested. But
yeah. And then so when we start walking around, we start hearing like people saying, "Oh, the shit hasn't been caught," and we're like, "What?" And that's when like people started freaking out a little bit more because like this is about maybe 5-10 minutes after it happened. Everyone was like obviously not chill, but like kind of more. They felt like nothing else is gonna happen. No more shots have happened until like people were like, "Oh, he hasn't been caught," and that's when I don't know. We just rushed to the garage. Me and Brandon were both calling like just our family and everything during this time walking back to the car. We get to our car. Were you there first at the car? Were you waiting for us? Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for you. I couldn't find the car. I was walking through the parking garage, and then y'all came and we found the car.
We got there. But that's kind of like my kind of experience up until getting to the garage. Dude, it took a second to get out of that garage.
Yeah, I mean 2.5 hours at least, I think.
We were there for a hot second.
Because at first everything was locked down, nobody could leave, and then everybody had to leave. So, every single car in that parking garage was just in a line, and we were at the second to top floor, maybe at the fourth floor of the parking garage. So we just had to wait and wait and wait, and we didn't have service in the car, so we had to walk 20 feet to the edge of the parking garage. And anytime we wanted to text someone or call someone, and everyone was getting up her phone, the internet was exploding. Everyone was texting me. Even people who didn't know I was there, they just knew I was in Utah. People were texting me.
That's one thing I thought was super interesting to see there's a lot of people that I like have never talked to, or like I might know mutually, but like I just, you know, we're not like on a day-to-day like type basis, and like they just texted me. They'll like, even some like YouTubers were calling me, and it was like YouTubers from Florida were calling me that day, FaceTiming me like, yo, are you okay? Like, are you good? And just all this stuff. That was I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like, I appreciate the support, but it was also like very like revealing to see like, oh, like, you know, like I don't know. It's just very eye-opening. I guess.
I think a lot of people didn't know like the difference between U of U and U of U. So like a lot of people like just maybe thought that I went there. Yeah,
it's crazy. So I think that was like kind of a full experience. We got a little guy right by to us. We'll let him go up really quick. Then we'll continue our little story time. How does it feel to be back in the courtyard at the moment?
I don't know. It's not even that sharp in my memory of the event as it sharp in all the pictures I've seen of the event. But it's I don't know.
There's very like
I'm not
traumatized.
Right, I'm alright. I guess that's good.
Yeah.
That I'm not, you know, scarred for life. But I guess it's a little bit surreal. Yeah, it's just crazy that I witnessed that. That this is like, I don't know. It's still being talked about now as like, and it will continue to be talked about as like, you know, evidence of like political violence and increasing political violence and like the relevance of creators in politics, and it's just such a crazy thing for me to be a part of. It'll probably, you know, for the rest of my life, it'll probably be the most historically relevant event that I was witness to. So, yeah.
Does this event change any of your like political views, you think?
No, I wouldn't say so. I would say, I don't know. No, I don't think so. It's, I mean, I was always of the opinion that political violence isn't, you know, it isn't productive. It isn't the answer. And I guess I was continued to be like that. But you know, just because someone died, that doesn't change anything about what's true or what's right. So it's yeah. I wouldn't say that anything changed. Yeah, I sort of got to take a little bit of a reprieve from the politics of the whole event because I was there. People were less inclined to talk to me about it.
I guess, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Other than that, I'm trying to think of anything like after the fact that it all happened. What did we even do after we left the garage? It was just us three, you, me, and Aaron still, yeah?
Yeah.
I think we just went to the gas station.
Yeah, we went to the gas station.
Got a snack. Got some.
Yeah. And people kept texting me. People kept calling me. Eventually, Aaron like found a video of it online. And he showed me, and I was like, "Oh, it's not great." And then like he just kept watching it on replay. I don't know why he was doing that.
I remember that. He was like he was trying to find all the angles. He was like,
he was like, "Oh my god, dude." But yeah, that was literal.
I definitely think he was more traumatized than we both were. Because even when I talked to him about it, he definitely still like remembers it very vividly. Like it's still like with him and stuff.
Yeah. But I guess after the fact, I got a lot of kind messages, and I think that I also got a lot of different messages.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Sort of, well, you could like sort of notice the difference on, you know, which side people were on by the way they texted me. Some people were like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? That was so intense."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Are you okay? You should really, you know, go talk to someone about this. I hope you're all right."
Did you ever think about like doing therapy or anything?
My
parents offered
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really thought about it. I mean,
It's not my type of thing.
After the first week, I felt all right. So, but there were also a lot of people who just like immediately were like, "I'm so sorry you were witnessed this depraved act by this, you know, sick individual, this attack on an American hero, you know, stuff like that." And so that was kind of awkward when people told me that, because I was there to debate him, obviously, and like some people got sort of mad at me because, you know, they knew I was liberal, and they were like, "Oh, this is the side you've chosen. This is the violent side that you've chosen to be on," even though I was there to like debate the guy, not to, you know, I was at least some confidence that, you know, peaceful debate was the way to go. So yeah. Yeah, but you probably got a lot of messages too.
Yeah, got a lot. I think it was also like interesting to see like kind of what people supported, like close friends and stuff, what they supported. It's like, dude, Instagram stories were blowing up that day. Like either there's like two sides. I feel like one side being like, oh, you know, he was a human being. Like even though I don't agree with his views, we should still like respect his death. Like we shouldn't be like glazing it. And then there's the other side, like, yeah, he died. Let's go. W in the chat. You know, like.
No.
It was very eye-opening to see like two different sides, even from close friends. I know some of my influencer friends I was talking to about it, they said like they cut off a lot of ties with some of their like other creator mutuals that they know, because like they just didn't share like it was like almost attacking each other because of like political views, which I was like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I felt like I saw a lot of, I don't know, there was one group chat we were in where like people who would usually just like joke about this kind of stuff and like, you know, just be really flippant about politics, you know, just sort of put it aside, were like, you know, I don't know, very serious about this, because on one hand like an idol died, on the other hand like you know, they think he shouldn't have been idolized, and so there was like this tension. I thought that I mean, it ended up being a big deal. I think a lot of people were sort of, you know, cut people off, were sort of very upset by the way that played out. But I thought it was going to be a much bigger deal. I thought that was really going to change everything. That, you know, because people were so attached to him that when people they didn't agree with were like, you know, flippant or didn't care or. You know, because the media will show, you know, some random person on Twitter celebrating his death and say the left is all celebrating his death now, and then I think that drove a lot of division between people, and so I thought that was kind of scary, that there was going to be a big line in Utah, especially because it's a red state, but usually the younger generation, especially in colleges, are bluer. Salt Lake County is blue, and like people in college are usually blue. So I thought there was going to be a lot of division there. Yeah, but I think it was a little bit better than I expected. People got over it. Friend groups maintained. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, that is our Charlie Kirk experience for the most part of it.
Experience from. Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely one of the most like historic events probably in Utah.
Yeah.
And happens to be just that little ode to UVU.
Yeah. Crazy,
dude.
Crazy.
Very crazy, dude. That is the second part to the Charlie Kirk experience. I was reading reviews on the Courtyard when we were trying to find this place. I looked up UVU Courtyard. Some reviews are like 1 star, not good, trauma, mustard, cookification location.
Wow.
There's some ketchup stains on the grass.
Oh,
counting or not counting gang violence. So random. But I guess we're also here recording this. We thought we would just record a podcast episode really quick. We're meeting up with this guy named Matt Batista. He does like those like investigating, like exposing type YouTube videos, you know. If you know who Tyler Oliveira is, it's very like similar to his type of content. He's in Utah today, at UVU specifically, to kind of like debunk some of these like, you know, rumors, the fiction that has kind of been behind the Charlie Kirk thing, at UVU specifically.
Yeah.
So he's going to be interviewing us. He's going to be interviewing some locals just to get their opinions on everything. So we're kind of here. I just thought we'd record a quick episode. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'll probably get some clips for Patreon as well. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to hear any other story times or whatever. Bye.
The other story times won't be this intense or sad or scary.
No.
They'll be actually like fun urbexing stuff.
Yeah,
so,
where we almost die.
Yeah.
Not where someone else dies.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Falls off a...
Uh-huh. Woo. See ya.
See ya.